This is the African Zombie. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My friends, if it's your first time here, karibuni sana, hatujambo, hatujambo, hatujambo. Welcome to each and every one of you. If it's your first time, guys, please give the video a like, leave a comment. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. What are we talking about today? Today we're talking about Burkina Faso. Let's get into the video. Okay, so this is a disclaimer, yeah? I have to give a disclaimer, guys. I'm not here advocating for anyone to move to Burkina Faso, yeah? As you guys know before, that I've said many times on this channel, when I was coming to Africa, I discarded all of the Francophone African countries because I didn't want to come to Africa and forced to learn another colonial language. So for that reason, I discarded all of the African Francophone countries, although a lot of our ancestors came from that region, yeah? From those regions. You understand? A lot of us can trace our lineage back to those regions. So I don't want to come in here and I don't want to be an advocate right now for moving to Burkina Faso. Things can change. Because why I'm saying that, because I have not seen anything. I've only heard people talk. I've been doing research, guys. I'm online and I'm doing research, right? And I'm trying to find out about if there is any policy changes for Black diasporans, for people that want to move to Burkina Faso. I've been doing research. I haven't seen anything, but I mean, I'm just hearing YouTubers talking. But if I'm missing something, you know, let me know. If I'm missing something, but I haven't seen anything. Based upon what I see, it's the same policy to obtain residency permit in Burkina Faso. As part of the diaspora, you need to apply through the Burkina Faso embassy or consulate, providing necessary documents like your passport, proof of your Burkina Faso heritage, and this is it, yeah? So based upon what I'm reading, it's even more stringent than some other countries. So it's telling me here, if you can prove your Burkina Faso, your Burkinabe heritage, birth certificate of family lineage, and evidence of your intention to reside in the country, such as employment or investment plan. You may also need to demonstrate financial stability and undergo a medical examination, depending on the specific requirement of the embassy. Key points about Burkina Faso residence permit for diaspora. Application process. Contact the Burkina Faso embassy or consulate in your current location to initiate the application process, right? Which will involve completing forms, submitting required documents, proof of Burkina Faso, Burkinabe heritage. You will need to provide documents providing your connection to Burkina Faso, like birth certificate, a Burkinabe parents or family lineage record. Residency reason. Explain the reason of wanting to reside in Burkina Faso. Financial stability. You might need to demonstrate sufficient funds to support to support yourself during your stay in Burkina Faso. Medical examination. You guys know, depending on the embassy requirements, you might need to undergo medical. Potential pathway to Burkina Faso residence permit. Family reunification. If you have a spouse or a close family member who is Burkinabe citizen, you can apply. Okay, in some countries, like for example in like Tanzania, if you are a Tanzanian man, you can marry a woman, and through you she can get Tanzanian residence permit. But if you are a Tanzanian woman, your husband is not Tanzanian, your husband cannot get Tanzanian residency through you. But it seems like in Burkina Faso, it does not matter the sex. Okay, that's good. So investment visa. Some countries offer residence permit to individuals who make significant investment in the local economy. Check if Burkina Faso has such a program, right? So based upon what I'm seeing, guys, I haven't seen any changes. I don't know if there is any changes, and until then, I'm not advocating. Yes, there are good things happening in Burkina Faso. Yes, what's coming out of Burkina Faso seems to be attractive, but we have to be careful, yeah? Let's not chase the shiny object. Let's wait. Let's be patient. And let's see if there are some, Dr. Ariana was there. The news that I'm hearing coming out from like Burkina Faso seems to be going in the right direction, right? And this is why when people talk about Ghana, yeah, the only country in Africa that I believe that has make it a lot easier for us to resettle is Ghana, hands down. Whatever you want to think about Ghana, whatever you want to say about Ghana, you can go to Ghana. You don't have to go through all these hoops, right? It's a lot easier. And yet still we like complain about Ghana, right? Ghana, Nigeria, I believe also, but most of us, like gravitate towards Ghana because of Nigeria's security issue, right? In Sierra Leone, I believe if you can prove to Sierra Leone that your like lineage come from one of the ethnic groups in like Sierra Leone, be it Temne, be it Mende, be it whatever, then you can get a Sierra Leonean passport. That's like citizenship. You deposit, I believe, a certain amount of US currency in a Sierra Leonean bank, along with like proving that your like lineage come from one of the ethnic groups in Sierra Leone, and you can get Sierra Leonean citizenship. So those are the countries that make it a lot easier for us, hands down, regardless of what, hands down, right? So before you're thinking about going to like Burkina Faso, do research. Let's see if things change. The rhetoric is good. Let's see if it changes before we just pick up and just say, oh, I'm going to move there. Because what we want, guys, we want to come to Africa and we want to be free. We want to come to Africa and we want to feel that we belong. We want to come to Africa and we want to know that even if there is a pathway to citizenship, right? And we are not even advocating for citizenship right now, but residency should be given to us. You understand? And a lot of us are turned away from Africa because we come 90 days, you have to leave the country, you have to come back, 90 days, you have to leave the country. So a lot of us are turned off by that. And based upon what I'm reading here, in Burkina Faso, it's no different than Tanzania, it's no different than like Kenya, it's all the same, right? So if there is something that I'm missing, please leave a link, send me a message, an email, so that I can see and I can keep up to date, right? But for now, what I'm seeing, guys, it is no different than most African countries. Let's get into the video.
So, Mr. President, I bring you your children, descendants of the formerly enslaved. They have waited over 400 years to return the spirits of their ancestors back home to Africa.
I don't know if you guys seen the speech, right? The speech that Dr. Arikana gave when she went to like Burkina Faso and she took some diasporans with her. I believe they were American diasporans. She took to Burkina Faso and she gave a speech, and these are good things, guys, and this is what we need, right? We need advocate in such like caliber. Joshua Mapanga was there. Dr. Arikana was there. And she took this delegation, and she spoke to the president. It was a powerful speech. If you haven't seen it, guys, go on like YouTube and search, Dr. Arikana, Burkina Faso. And you hear what she said, eh? And I want you to listen to what she said and understand. Don't just let it go over your head as nothing, because you may have missed it, right? She said, these are your children that have been taken away, that have been away for over 400 years. But listen to what she said. They have returned with the spirit of their ancestors. Hi. You understand that line? And I said before, right, on one of my videos, I've said that when I came to Africa for the first time, right, something grabbed hold onto me. Hold on, guys, something grabbed hold onto me. That when I left Tanzania and I went back to Toronto, my spirit stayed in Africa. My body, the shell, went back to North America, Canada, but the spirit was here. Guys, this is no joke. And you heard what she said. They return with the spirit of their ancestors because our ancestors live within us. Our ancestor is a part of us. It engulfs us. And you have to have the understanding to relate to what she's saying. I was forced to come back to Tanzania 4 months after I left the first time I came to Africa to reconnect with my spirit. Seriously. I was just an empty thing walking around in this country, but my spirit stayed because you know why? The ancestral spirit, and that's what I said before, that we are a spiritual people. I'm not talking about Islam, I'm not talking about Christianity, I'm talking about ancestral spirit that guided our ancestors for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's the African way. You understand? When our ancestors was taken from Africa, they were yanked away from Africa and taken to a strange land. What happening in the land of Africa occurs nowhere else. The spiritual powers, the spiritual forces that are in Africa exist nowhere else on this earth. So when our ancestors were taken and they started to procreate, where they were taken to, we have no connection with the ancestral spirit that governed the land of Africa. Understand? So when we, who are the descendants of the enslaved, when we return to Africa, the ancestral spirit that guides the land of Africa recognize us as being lost. My interpretation. They grab onto us. Reconnection. Understand? Reconnect. You have to be in Africa. You have to come to Africa to experience what I'm talking about. I was told many times, and this is why I said when I come to Africa, I was told that when you go to Africa, something will happen to you. Something will happen to you. Everyone who comes to Africa, I've heard them talk about this thing. So I came to Africa and I was looking for this thing to happen to me, man. Nothing happened to me. But I was thinking, okay, what is this? I'm waiting to experience this thing that everyone tells me. Hey, it's not until I left Africa, and that's why I keep saying my spirit stayed here. It's not until I left Africa, boom, I understand. And this is my interpretation of it. I could be wrong, but it's my interpretation. So there's a reconnection. We are reconnected to the ancestors in the spiritual ancestral way. You come to Africa as an African descendant, as a descendant of the enslaved. You come to Africa, your life could never be the same. It will never, ever, ever be the same. I don't care if you leave Africa and you go away and you talk about your bad experiences in Africa. Okay, it happens, right? Not everyone is going to have a good experience, but your life can never be the same. You can never stay away from Africa. Let's continue to stream.
Burkina Faso again. Guys, take a look at the kind of vision Ibrahim Traoré have in Burkina Faso. How this guy want to transform Burkina Faso. Just take a look at. Just what's the pictures. Ibrahim Traoré want to transform Burkina Faso to this you are seeing. And he have already started it. The other time around, I told you guys that he's building more than 50,000 homes for the needy, Burkinabes that don't have anywhere they are living. Less privileged people that don't have homes. He's building more than 50,000 homes. Now watch. What's the houses this guy is building? More than 50,000.
See? This is what Africa needs. Visionary leaders. And it was so sad that our old, decrepit old men and whoever have been in power for so many years, who have been compromised, who have been manipulated by colonial powers and big business, who have been corrupt, who didn't care about their citizens, who did not understand their role, but who grabbed onto power and who stayed in like power for 30, 40, 50 years. Haven't done a damn thing for their country. They have been in power for so many years and the country is still in the same mess that is in when they first came into power. Men with no vision for the future, enriching themselves, their family, and the upper class. We need visionary. This is vision. Young men, young people need to get involved. Young people need to step up. Young people with vision to transform Africa is what Africa needs. You see this vision. Rwanda. So I said, look at what Rwanda had done in 30 years. From what happened there 30 years ago to where it is right now. See transformation. You know, people can talk about Kagame and say whatever they said about him and Congo, whatever. I don't know because I don't get involved in that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you can see physical evidence of the transformation of the country. Show me our Rwandese right now who are not proud of the country. Show me our Rwandese right now who have gone through civil war in the country and fled to Europe, fled to North America. Look at the transformation. Rwanda is the fastest growing economy in Africa today. Rwanda has rebranded itself as a tourist destination. Rwanda don't have much as when it comes to minerals. But Rwanda is building. Just as Singapore and all those countries don't have much, Malaysia, they don't have mineral resources. But look at what they have done. Rwanda is on the same pathway. So when you look at young leader like Captain Toure, that's what Africa needs. Young leaders in Niger, young leaders in Mali, visionary leaders that will not compromise, that will not be manipulated by colonial powers, but who put the interests of the citizen and who put firsthand education, healthcare, development, infrastructure. You need young, visionary leaders. I tell you guys, there are some good things coming out of Burkina Faso. We need to wait. We need to have patience, and we need to see. But so far, man, it's interesting and it is appealing, but we're not going to chase the shiny object. Not yet. We need to have patience.
I am not a politician. I'm not joking. I am a soldier. And I prefer to tell you the truth. Everyone is free to take or leave. Everyone drives around in their car. Everyone is living well. We eat in the morning, we eat for lunch, we eat at night. We do what we want to do. We are free to talk about saying what we want. It's democracy, it's the right, that's all. That's all we know about in Ouagadougou. But go ahead and see the children who have skin on their bones. Go see those who are starving. Go see those women who can no longer breastfeed because they have nothing left in their breasts. Go see them. Let's not pretend. If our journalists do not have the courage to go to the field and bring you these images, it's because we want to wash the image of Burkina. I tell you that it is false. It exists. When I tell you about the people who eat the grass, whoever wants to challenge, I'll bring him tomorrow. Go see, it continues. It has not even stopped. Because we were able to supply some villages, but others not yet. We are still on the way. No civilian can even support with trucks so that we can be in solidarity with this population. What integrity is this? What is integrity, Burkina Faso? What is it? This lack of support has deeply unsettled and revolted us. Until we address the core issues plaguing this country, we will always be revolted.
When this is the mark of a good leader, you know, when a leader stands and chastises the ruling class, when a leader put the ruling class, the so-called ruling class, on notice, you feel your own bellies. You don't care about anything else. You don't care about anyone else. You don't care about the people that elect you, the people that you go to and you beg for the vote, you ask for the vote, and you make promises to them. And when you get in office, you stay there for 5 years, you don't care about these people. You drive around in your big car. I've seen, you know, some people driving around in big cars. And when I ask with envoy, and they'll tell me, oh, this is so and so, and that is so and so. And I'll be like, wow. In Canada, member of parliament don't get escort. Member of parliament want a car, you buy your own car. Now, if you are a cabinet member, there may be certain allowances provided to you as a cabinet member when you are on government functions. Member of parliament don't get cars every couple of years. If you want a car every couple of years, you buy it yourself. But I've seen, you know, on TV, I've seen whatever, you know, member of parliament, even in Nigeria, you watch on the Nigerian parliament allocating millions of dollars for the Senate members and members of the Nigerian parliament, or what do you call it, like Congress or whatever, for new cars. I'm talking about expensive cars, you know, V8. V8s. So now you have a young leader in Burkina Faso chastising the ruling class. You fill your bellies, you eat 3 meals a day, you drive around in your big expensive car, and members of the public are starving. Members of the public don't know, our citizens don't know where the next meal is coming from. Hi, my friends. What do you think Africa needs? This is what Africa needs. This type of leadership is what Africa needs. And you see, those of us in the diaspora, when we see leaders like this, who is on the path to change Africa, we gravitate towards them because that's what we want. You think we want to be out here? You think we want to be out in the cold? It is so damp. A couple days ago, I made a short that it was so damp. The damp got into, I'm wearing a nice expensive wool jacket, guys. I'm well protected. But the dampness get into the clothes, it get into on your skin, it goes up into your pants, it goes up. We're not talking about cold now, we're talking about damp. It made me feel so uncomfortable. I can't deal with it. We don't want to be out in a place where we are not welcome. We don't want to be in a place where we, in spite of our hard work, in spite of our contribution, we are still being marginalized. We want to come to Africa. But if Africa is not appealing to us, why would we? So when you look at a young leader like this, standing before the ruling class and chastising them, and they sit and listen because they don't have a choice. It brings a smile to my face because I'm seeing, maybe there is hope for Africa after all.
What Burkina Faso, rather Niger, has done. To say that I'm going to start with my uranium.
Yeah.
And that France, I'm no longer going to sell you my uranium for 80 cents. It's going to be 200 euros per kilo moving forward.
Yeah.
Right there,
New budget.
Niger
Yeah.
kept almost 300 billion a year that was going to France and funding French education, French healthcare. That alone, one mineral, would completely change the economy of Burkina Faso, of Niger overnight. Now let's take all the other minerals. Burkina Faso is doing it. They started with their gold. When are we going to have leadership with enough balls to do what's right? To do what any other man would do? Dude, you wouldn't want me doing that in your country. Why would you want to do it in my country?
Yeah.
Get out. What's right is right. What is fair is fair. We are not asking the world to do what they wouldn't want done unto them. We are simply asking the world to treat Africa fairly. We're simply asking the world to do unto us as they want done unto them. Look at what Burkina Faso.
You know, most people don't talk about France, you know. Most people don't talk about how evil France is and was. We don't talk about it. We talk about America, we talk about Britain, we talk about whatever. But France, I would say, has even been worse than what France has done on the colonies in Africa. There were French soldiers that fought Africans who fought in the French army, who fought wars in the French army, and even today they were fighting. Just recently, France agreed to pay them like pension. If they leave France, I'm sorry guys, I'm like sitting on this rickety bench here. If they left France, okay, for them to get their pension, they had to stay in France. So if they wanted to go back to their home country, they were not getting pension. And France was giving them something like 1,500 euros, yeah? You cannot live in France on 1,500 euro per month. These men, old men, were living in conditions that was deplorable. Men who fought in the French army. Men who gave their lives, who lost limbs, who gave their best years to France. Well, the white French counterpart were enjoying. And they wanted to go back, because if they go back to their home country, Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, those French country, with 1,500 euros, to take them a long, farther way, they can have a good life, live a good life. France was like, no, if you leave France, your pension is cut. So they were, as a matter of fact, they were being held hostage in France. Just recently, in the last couple of years, the law was changed. Some of these men died in France. France allowed them to go back and keep their pension. See this now. France was reaping the African countries, which they did. Belgium did the like same thing. Reaped. And France continued to reap even to this day. Uranium being sold for 80 cents. Now they said, okay, when these men came into power, they tell France, no, you're gonna pay us 200 euros. And I don't know how you measure uranium, but 200 euros. And listen what Dr. Ariana said. Just by that single act alone on uranium, 300 billion can be put into the economy of Niger. Think about what this money, you see what France was doing. And that's what Africa does. We give it to them, they build the economy, good healthcare, good infrastructure, good schools, education system. We prop up the economy. Africa keeps the economy of the world going. We prop up the economy, and they impoverish us. And we need strong leaders, good visionary leaders, young leaders who are educated. Because these men in the Francophone countries that took over are no puppet. These are educated men that went to university, men that went to school, and even some of them went to school in France. You understand? And that's how you beat them. You'll go to them, you'll learn the system, you come back and you use what you learn from them against them. Hi, my brothers and sisters. That's how you win. So just by this single act on uranium alone can transform Niger. By Burkina Faso telling them we are not free, you don't have any gold mine. France don't have any gold mine. America, England, the amount of gold that is being stored in England. Because some of these countries give England the gold to store. England have a big storage of gold, and England don't have any gold mine. A lot of these countries don't have gold mine, but they have the most gold reserves. So when you hear young visionary leaders like Captain Traore saying that no, not anymore. It is done. It's over. And these men stand on principles. They will not be compromised, guys. We have to rally around these young African leaders because they will make it better for us. We have to rally around them. We have to support them. Because if not, they're going to take them out. And they try to take him out many, many times. So we have to stand in solidarity. And this is why they have to make it easier for us to come to Africa so we can help. They have to make it easier for us to integrate. Because we have the knowledge, I said before, we have the engineer, the civil engineer, the mechanical engineer, the chemical engineer. And I was watching, there's another video I'm going to do on this, where they're talking about developing pharmaceuticals in Africa for the African. I'll tell you this. I'll share a personal story with you, right? I have a medical condition that I'm taking medication for. I've been going to my doctor for over 20-something years. I have my family doctor that I've been going to for over 20-something years, right? He put me on so many different cocktails, guy. So many different medication this man put me on, right? Well, and based on my job, I have one of the best healthcare system in Canada. I have one of the best healthcare, bar none. And this man put me on so many different medication, guys, that had side effects. That one time, this man put me on a medication, man, that almost killed me. So happened that he developed prostate cancer, and within 6 months' time, he was dead. Okay? My family doctor was Asian. He died. So I was talking to the receptionist. They were all, black girls. I was talking to them, and I said, Dr. Tan died, and I need to find another clinic. But I said, for whatever reason, I said, I need to have a black doctor. And this is one thing Canada don't have a lot of. We need more black doctors in Canada. Yeah? So I said, I think I would need to find a black doctor. I'm going to look for a black doctor. And she said to me, hey, Kerry, don't leave the doctor who is coming. He's black. He's a young doctor, just graduated from university, and he's coming. So don't leave. I said, yeah. She said, yeah. I said, yeah. Boom. I went to see him the first week he was there. He looked at my chart, he looked at whatever, yeah? And he said, okay, generic medication is not working for you. And that's what the doctor has been giving you, generic medication. He said, yes, some healthcare company don't want to pay for brand name. But when all option is exhausted, the doctor has the authority to give you the brand name medication. And there's a certain things that he has to do to the prescription whereby the insurance companies will cover the brand name medication. This man put me on the brand name medication, yeah? I had to see him in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time when I went back to see him, I could not believe the results. So what I'm saying is that that's why we need pharmaceuticals that is geared towards the black body. When you have all these white men and Asian men or whatever developing drugs for the black body, a lot of the drugs in Africa comes from India and Asia. A lot of death happens in Africa because of the drugs that comes from India, and it's a problem in the Gambia. It's a problem with baby formula coming in from Asia, India, and other Asian countries. So we need black pharmaceuticals. We need black research doctors that can research and develop drugs that is geared towards the black body. We need black doctors. That's why in Tanzania, I said there are a lot of young black doctors in Tanzania. When you go to the doctor in Tanzania, you feel the difference. If you have not experienced it, go into a black doctor who knows the generic makeup of your body. That's what we need. Guys, thank you for listening to my rant today. This is the African Jumpy. Thank you for straying with me. Thank you, guys. I will continue to do more research. I'll continue to gather more evidence, because I'm not going to come in here and just talk. I want to back up what I'm saying with evidence, yeah? So I'm not advocating, like I said earlier, for anyone to pick up and move to the Gambia, because I don't know. I haven't seen any changes. I don't know. If there's anything, send it to me. I will continue to do my research, and if I come across anything, I will give you an update. Peace and love. Thank you for sharing with me. Bye for now.